Hi, I'm Ed Burley. I'm a retired U.S. Army Brigadier General and a retired Assistant United States Attorney, a Federal Prosecutor. For those of you that have been watching my videos over this past week, you know that I'm not a professional speaker. I'm not a YouTube star. I'm not a social media guy. But I did find a need to speak out against the candidacy of Donald Trump. He's a tax cheat. A man who has sexually assaulted numerous women. He's given tax breaks to his friends and cheated the rest of us in numerous ways. Moreover, he has a dark vision for the future of America, the elimination of protections for citizens, additional benefits for his rich friends and associates, friendships with foreign dictators, and concepts of a plan for economic and foreign policy decisions that will result in tariffs that will bankrupt the average American person and abandon our allies overseas. Now, an election can't be just about voting against someone. As terrible as he is, there has to be a reason to vote for someone as well. As I've stated, I am supporting Vice President Kamala Harris in this election. Why should we vote for Vice President Harris? Well, she's a person of integrity and toughness. After graduating from college and law school, she worked her way up through the ranks at the San Francisco District Attorney's Office for 12 years as a deputy and assistant district attorney. When she finally stood for political office, her very first one, which was as the district attorney for San Francisco, she won with 56% of the vote and then was unopposed in her second term because she was so popular and her policies were so effective. As the district attorney, she cleared 27 of 74 backlog homicide cases, cold cases, within the first 6 months. As a former homicide prosecutor, I can tell you that is an amazing accomplishment. Often, cold cases never get solved, or they take years to do so. She was tough on crime, but she also worked to reduce crime in very sensible ways by attacking hate crimes and school truancy, which has been shown as an indicator of future criminal activity. Now, after 2 terms in San Francisco as a district attorney, she was elected Attorney General of California with 58% of the vote. Again, a great margin. She went after corporate criminals, recovering billions of dollars for consumers. As part of that, during the housing crisis after 2009, she rejected a suggestion by the Obama administration to accept a rather low benefit on behalf of the people of California, and went further after the companies that had been doing predatory loans and received millions more for the taxpayers. Now then she ran for senator and she won 60% of the vote, carrying all but 4 counties in California. It's pretty amazing. She co-sponsored the Border and Port Security Act to increase the number of border and port patrol and border patrol officers by 500 per year and secure our borders. She cares about issues that are important to Americans. Now, since President Biden has selected her as vice president, she's faced lots of criticism that, why hasn't she done this or that for us? Why hasn't she fixed the border or other issues? This past weekend, my high school history teacher sat down with me and we were talking about the election, and he suggested that we all need a high school civics review. The vice president only has two duties according to the Constitution. First, to break ties in the Senate. And second, to act as the president if the president becomes incapacitated. Now think about it. What vice president has done anything that you can recall? Or can you even remember the names beyond the last three vice presidents? Probably not. With respect to the duties that she has had, she has voted more times and sat in more sessions of Congress to break ties than any vice president in our history, 33 times. She knows more about both the executive and legislative branch than most of our presidents or vice presidents in the past. If you think about it, Vice President J.D. Vance, candidate, he has had 18 months of experience as a senator. That's the extent of his entire experience as a legislator. And he probably wouldn't have won if he wasn't bankrolled by Peter Thiel. She's had 22 years of elected office on top of her 12 years working in the ranks as a prosecutor and as a member of government. Now, during her campaign, Vice President Harris has also set herself out as her own person. She's not going to be following all the policies of the Biden administration. She has some of her own ideas on how to make government better. She's a strong leader who's promised to follow the Constitution and protect the rights of the people. Furthermore, she's not going to bring in a number of extremists as her staff. No, she's gathered an experienced group of people that have been centrists in government as her team. That stands in a great opposition to her opponent, but something else is there as well. She brings a real joy to the campaign and to the prospect of becoming president. A joy that's been absent in America and in much of our politics for a long time. Donald Trump talks about how terrible things are, but a positive outlook often will drive optimism as we move forward. Trump talks plenty about make America great again. He's focused on the past. The question is, what past? Is it the 1950s when white men had it really good, but women had no power, and people of color were all subject to segregation and prejudice? Is it the 1960s and 70s when Trump was excluding black tenants from his properties and when he was able to freely assault women without many consequences because it was a man's world back then, a white man's world? Trump he constantly talks about how terrible America is, but that's not the America I know, and I hope it's not the America that you know and love. Let's not move into the past. Make America great again is not the way we want to be going backwards. Let us as a country move forward. Let's make America greater, better, more fair. That's the vision of Vice President Harris. She wants to make America better every single day. And just like our parents told us that having a positive attitude will go a long way towards whatever it happens to be that our parents were telling us about, having that kind of positive attitude will help us move forward to end divisiveness in our nation and to build a government again in which Republicans and Democrats can work together for the future of our country and for the betterment of people like you and me, rather than just the rich. As a result of all this, and because I believe that Vice President Harris has shown that she is a serious person who has worked her whole life for people like you and me. I have joined with the National Security Leaders for America in supporting her. She is ethical. She's a strong leader. She has repeatedly been elected to positions of authority and worked for the people in those jobs, not for her cronies or for her friends. We need someone in the White House who's going to be true to their word and true to the Constitution and her oath. Someone who is going to work for us and for the betterment of our country, to make it greater. I would ask you to consider voting for Kamala Harris for president this year. Regardless, I appreciate anyone who has tuned in. Many of you are my friends for a long time. Some of you may be new, but regardless, God bless you. God bless America. And let's move forward to make America a better place to live. Thank you.